Okay, let's do this. Well, I'm tossing my dice in the tray and making an anime D&D story about the level 20 one-shot that took 3 days to finish. So, on my birthday, I wanted to celebrate with an overpowered level 20 D&D campaign. A friend of mine decided to DM and made up a one-shot campaign with level 20 characters that we could all play as. So, I've only been playing D&D for about half a year at this point, and mostly as a DM and only twice as a player. This being one of those times. And I've only gone as high as probably 4th level, so I had no idea what to expect playing a level 20 character. So I got the rest of our friends together, 6 in total, and began our story. We awaken in a cold, damp jail cell with no memories of who we are or how we got there. On the other side of the bars are a large machine and an undead soldier wearing plate armor. With no memory of who we are, we begin conversing with each other, asking what we all look like. We confirm that our party consists of a very small gray-skinned gnome woman, a tall human woman with tattoos and burn marks across her body, a bald but heavily bearded dwarf man, a sickly pale, white-haired woman with pointed ears and dark sunken eyes, and me, a very tall, orange-skinned, hairy dude with tusk protruding from my jaw. After conversing with each other for a while and exploring our confines, the undead orders us to pipe down as he collects bowls of gruel for us to eat. He orders us to stand up against the wall as he opens the gates to give us our food. Almost immediately, the bearded dwarf charges him and manages to grab him by the ankles, but doesn't exactly grapple him. I, on the other hand, follow through with this and sock the undead right in the jaw, and the rest of us manage to bum rush him and knock him prone. But while this is happening, the machine that was in the room suddenly activates, transforms, and rises, filling up the entire room with its new form. We close the gate and it seems to keep it at bay for a moment as it tries to crash its way through. On the other hand, the undead is still trying to fight us off, so I responded by trying to kick him in the head. This goes way better than I expected, and I ended up curb stomping his head into brainy mush. So now we have to deal with the machine. And since we all have amnesia, we have no idea what we can actually do, so our party asks the DM for some advice. He tells us that he'll accept vague suggestions like, I'd like to cast a spell, or I'd like to attack it. The human woman tries casting a spell, and out of nowhere, fire bursts forth from her hands, enveloping the machine in flame. It doesn't look severely damaged, but it's overheating and starting to tumble. Then the small gnome woman, overcome with stress, suddenly loses her mind as she bursts through the gated door with fury and punches the machine, massively denting it. But then suddenly the machine is dented from both sides by an unknown force, damaging it significantly again. I, on the other hand, thinking that I'm a fighter, begin stripping the armor off the undead and putting it on myself, which increases my armor class, but messes with my dexterity as I discover that I'm not proficient in wearing plate armor. I try to attack the busted machine with my sword, and it just bounces off the armor. So then our dwarf tries casting a spell and rolls a lot of damage dice, like a couple more than we usually see, and a pillar of light slams onto the machine, causing even more damage, and we're all really impressed, thinking this is the most amount of damage we've seen yet. Well, I don't remember if the machine was ever able to get an attack in, but what I do remember is the pale woman trying to cast a spell as well. And when she does, our DM has her roll like 15 dice. We freak out at this because we have never had to roll that many dice for anything before, and it was incredible. So she rolls the dice, counts the total number of damage, and a sphere of light bursts through the ceiling onto the machine, exploding it, sending chunks of it across the room. All of us are dumbfounded as to what just happened, but we're glad to be more or less free. We explore the room and the room adjacent to it, and I find a dead body in another cell with lockpicks on him, and a room full of chests. Most of them are unlocked, and we find a bunch of clothes, and we figure out who's belong to whose. But one chest is locked, and our burned human woman, who is played by a person who normally plays a tiefling rogue, decides to have a crack at opening it. I hand her the lockpicks, and she fails. Then the gnome decides she wants to try it, and she fails as well. At this point, our DM is giving me the stink eye because I'm the only one who hasn't tried it yet. So I decide to try it, and I add a plus 17 to my sleight of hand to the shock of everyone, and the chest pops open. At this point, it's getting late into the night, like 2 a.m., and I'm alright guys, I think we should call it here. I know this was supposed to be a one-shot, but I think we can keep it going another day. Let's just not get our character sheets, so that way we still know who we are. And that's when the DM goes, so upon opening the chest, you see a symbol on the bottom of the lid, and you remember who you are. Here's your character. And he hands me my character sheet. Turns out, I am Thrarengar. Thranar. Hold on, I gotta get my character. Got to get this damn sheet. Where'd I put it? Theranar, the Master Flayer, a half-orc rogue. Inside the chest, I find my leather armor, as well as a bunch of equipment, a battle axe, a staff, a scimitar, a mace, a shield, a staff, a crossbow, and a sword. And we eventually figure out who gets what. So after double-checking the room for a torch, we move forward, entering a door leading up to a staircase into a really dark room. It's so dark that once we enter it, the flame from our torch goes out, and we're left in pitch black darkness. And that's where I'll leave it for now. I'll be continuing this story soon, so if you'd like to be the first to hear it, please like and subscribe, and check out the rest of my stuff here. See y'all soon!